Welcome, welcome. We are starting our webinar in just a moment. Let's wait till we get a few more people on board. Okay, it is 6 o'clock here on the West Coast and a beautiful sunny day in Seattle. You don't see very many of these, so I turned the camera angle around so everybody can see this. So glad to have you out there, and so this is we got Jay on board. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't letting me log in here.
Oh. Okay, but you're in now. That's for sure. How have you been doing this week?
Doing real good, real good. How about I'm losing my voice a little bit here from doing videos and stuff. I was getting pretty serious on some videos. I had to let out the anger. Not really the anger, but I just had to get serious.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to get serious. I mean, if from what Chris says, hey, he said tomorrow it's going to be live. People have got to get on board now if they're not on board already. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't cost anything, folks. Sign up. My gosh, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, if nothing else, sign up for your free account, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Lynn.
Hello.
Hi, you made it.
Let's see, webinar needs permission. Okay. Let's see, what do I do?
I guess you do, yeah.
Okay.
Administrators don't have to have permission. Yes.
Well, I have a bunch of accounts. Okay, accept. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Cool.
You're good.
Hey, Lynn.
Hello. Oh, Jason.
Catherine. Okay.
Finally, I know we're at like every event, and we always say, I'm going to run into you at the event, and I never do, right?
And you're from Michigan?
Right, yeah.
Because I was born in Detroit, and I grew up in Farmington Hills.
Right, yeah, I'm in Livonia right now, so I'm right next door.
Yeah, that's where my dad had his store.
What store? What kind of store?
A meat market, sausage company.
Where was it?
Gosh.
What was the name of it?
Conrad's. It was in
like
a little shopping mall strip or whatever.
Gotcha.
Oh, I should probably put my name. How do I do that? Let's see here.
Yeah, go over to the left to the toolbox.
Hey, Catherine.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
There we go.
Good to have everybody on board.
Hi, Catherine. I'm Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. I'm Catherine. Of course, you know that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There we go.
I will be right back.
We took off. Okay. Anyway, so Lynn, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself and give your background, and just so everybody, we kind of did that last time, but we'll kind of touch base a little bit again this time. But since you're the newbie, get give us the full Monty.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love the background, Roy. That looks really cool.
Yes, it's a sunny day in Seattle. You don't see many of these.
I know. It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Well, I'm Lynn Brown, and like I was telling Jason, I was born and raised in Michigan, but in 1979 came out to California because I was with a corporation that relocated me. They said, would I mind be relocated to California? I'm like, oh, wow. And then I asked where, and they said San Francisco. I'm like, oh, yeah. And I was only 22 years old, 23 years old, just getting my first promotion in corporate America. And so I landed in California. Have never gone, well, I've gone back to visit Michigan, but I love California. It's my state for sure. But currently I live in Central Coast, California, so if anybody knows San Luis Obispo or Santa Barbara, that's the area I live in now, and have been since, I don't know, 1985. But I'm a corporate gal. I've been in corporate America for, gosh, you'll know how old I am, like 35 years. and you know, I was born and raised outside of Detroit, like I mentioned that. So I grew up with the car companies and Ford Motor Company and things like that. So it was all corporate, corporate, corporate. My dad always told me, you know, you go to school, you get a job, you know, that kind of thing. And so that's all I knew. But fortunately, gosh, right around 1995 is when I started learning about the internet, and it was a good thing that I did because I got myself involved with real estate lending. And I wanted to source clients, you know. So I was introduced to LinkedIn. That was my first introduction, was LinkedIn. So I became not real good at LinkedIn, just learned how to use LinkedIn to develop a list, but I didn't even know what that meant at that time. So I didn't have a list per se. I kept it on an Excel spreadsheet. And so then anyway, built my business and did very, very well in that industry. Until 2006 to 2008, everything started to change. And during that change, it was hard times, really hard times. I went from you know, a six-figure earner per year, literally 1 year where I made only $5,000. That was it for the whole entire year. And then the following year after that, just everything, you know, everything, especially in California here, it just really, really took a nosedive. And my expertise with it was in construction lending. So because of that, my husband and I also got into building homes and refurbishing homes and things like that. But then his business took a nosedive. So lo and behold, we were, you know, kind of like looking at each other, what are we going to do, kind of thing. And so one thing led to another, and I started getting online and looking for how to, you know, earn a living online. And for a short period of time, I was learning all about social media. That's when Facebook started coming out really, you know, heavily. And then I think it was Twitter, and then, you know, all the social sites started coming up. So I just self-taught myself day in and day out. And so then I started hiring myself out as a consultant. I didn't know any other way how to earn a living other than that, because I was on a commission-only structure, so I knew how to make money. I just had to figure out a way to do it in a different industry. So that's what I did. And because I did have somewhat of a list, I just contacted old clients and, you know, contacted people in my community, and one thing led to another. I was doing presentations and all that kind of thing. But then, you know, it's a hard deal. It's a really hard deal to always have to be sourcing people the way I was doing it every single day almost, or, you know, at least on a monthly basis to make any kind of good income. And so then somebody introduced me to Empower Network. And when I saw the video with David Wood, and I was like, wait a minute, where was this system, you know, like 10 years ago? Why couldn't I have had this system 10 years ago? So I immediately joined, and I got all in. I mean, I joined everything, because that's the type of person I am. If I believe in something, I move forward with it. And so I did, and really the rest is history. I'm so happy to be, you know, part of this company and community, and, you know, the concept is just phenomenal. And now marrying iPAS2, you know, with this vehicle, I'm just like, wow, where was Chris Jones and Chris, you know, Chris Campbell? I wish I would have met them 10 years ago. You know, it would have been awesome. But anyway, that's my story in a nutshell, and I'm really, really happy to be able to be on this panel today. Where I appreciate you, allowing me to be here amongst you guys and to share a little bit of my story and the excitement that I feel for, iPAS2.
Well, thank you, Lynn, for being on, because it makes it more interesting. We can have a few people that are telling their story and how they got into Empower Network, how they got into the iPAS. It's gonna resonate with, because my story may not resonate with somebody. Jay's story may not resonate, but the more people we can get. So I still want to put an invitation out there. We'd like to have, more panel members. If you're a Black Card member in iPAS, come on down, because we'd love to have you on the panel. Because who knows, these people are going to start getting tired of maybe we'll have to start rotating pretty soon. But right now, I'm so glad everybody's here. How long have you? When did you join Empower Network, Lynn?
I think it was right before. It was like days before the San Diego event.
Oh, okay.
And I talked my husband into it. So we took a 10-day vacation. We needed a vacation anyway.
Yeah.
So we built it around that event, and that's when I met the Daves. We ran into David Wood. We were staying at the same hotel at the elevator, and so we were able to talk with him. And then we ran into David Sharp at the after party. We were leaving the after party. He was coming in, and to meet them in person like that and talk with them, that sealed it for even my husband. He was in awe as well. So ever since then, and we've gone to every event after that too.
Oh yeah, it's important to go to the events.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're so much fun.
Definitely. And actually the mini events, the one we had here in Seattle, was just incredible because
I bet.
it's small. We got to really rub shoulders with everybody, and so yeah, it was really cool. And David Wood was there. Unfortunately, David Sharp, health conditions. He had to leave Empower Network, but the basics of the Empower Network, it all came in David Wood's head, but David Sharp was an incredible spokesperson and really was able to get the idea out there. Some people, David Wood is a little bit too out there for them, and David Sharp was able to bring it back in for a lot of people and be the face of the Empower Network, and it really was a good blend. I really wish I had gone to Costa Rica when the first Costa Rica intensive had been done. Chris Rushlow and a lot of you probably know him, but he and David Wood were friends, since they were 12 years old, and so he called me up and said, "Roy, you need to go to Costa Rica." And at the time, I was in San Bernardino, California, testing an airplane because that's what I do, and he was on the phone with me for like 2 hours. And you really need to go. And it's like, I would get fired if I left here. I'm in the middle of testing an airplane. I can't leave. And so he told me afterwards he was having his oil changed and he had nothing else to do but stay on the phone with me. So we just talked about all kinds of things, and it was really cool. So now he's heading back from Alaska to visit his folks, and so he's supposed to stop by here and stay for a day or two. So it'll be really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of nice. So, Catherine, go ahead. Ladies first. Tell your story and give us a little background on your thoughts on iPAS.
Hello, I'm Catherine Weathersby, and I am a member of the iPAS2 team. I am from Northwest Indiana, and I was there, I grew up there. And I recently moved to Texas, and I moved here because I have been an at-home mom for several years. I homeschooled my son in both kindergarten and 8th grade, and he went on to high school, and now he's a college student here in Texas, and so that's why we moved. Um, by having this digital lifestyle, it allowed us to move, and we basically can live anywhere. We have the freedom now. He is 18, so we can live wherever we want, and that's basically why we're here now. And he's doing real well in college, and I'm very proud of him. I enjoy having this freedom. And for those of you who are working in corporate America, I was also there once myself, and for a number of years. And I'm happy to no longer be there.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I became. My parents were entrepreneurs, so that's I followed them. My dad pastored a church for, I want to say, 37 years, the same church, but he had another church before that. And so between ministry and entrepreneurship is how I grew up, and also ventured into ministry and following in their footsteps in that regard. And so I did it through youth programs and working with at-risk youth, as well as having my corporate career. So I'm very excited about being a part of the Empower Network and the iPAS2. And I joined in Chicago, and I've been working with Empower ever since. And it basically has been my primary, even though internet marketing, I shouldn't say primary, but internet marketing was my primary. And like Lynn, I was doing social media management. I was helping people, local businesses. I helped a local business win $20,000 from American Express and Facebook. And with that money, they opened a second business. So I've trained Aflac, Field Force. I've trained numerous businesses, and I've been very involved in all things internet. So I consider myself a strategist, and I teach people strategy, whether that's using pay-per-click or whatever. So that's how I got my springboard into this. My husband saw it, wanted to do it, and we jumped in. And I'm very excited about iPAS2 because it is a highly duplicatable system. It's a franchise. And as I bring on more team members, I'll immediately be able to tell them what they need to do. We've had members, we have members, but they have not, been able to really get a grasp of this, because as you go on, it's pieces right now. And so to have this iPAS2 system where they can plug in and immediately start getting results is something that I'm looking forward to. So I want to thank you for inviting me back. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I am very happy to have you back. You really bring such a spirit with you. You've done a lot of ministry work and helping others, and this is just a continuation, right, of a way to help others.
That's right.
One thing of helping them, getting them off the streets, but there's only so much you can do on that end of it, right?
Yes.
And now you've got another way of helping them, right?
Yeah, definitely. You have to have money to do that type of work.
Yes. Oh yeah. Social work is not free by any means, and trying to help people, even in the Bible, it tells the beggar on the street, you got to give him some bread first before you can help save his soul.
Right.
So and that's something that we can actually do here, is we can feed them, and and we can try to save their souls later, but as part of our work, because God directs His work. I firmly believe, and we need that behind us, and as long as we're trying to help people, He's going to be there helping us.
Right.
Hey, Jay, How's it going, my man?
Doing good, doing good. I'll give the abbreviated version this week, but
Right.
I come from a sales and customer service background, and I have sort of like Lynn was talking about, the jobs I was working in were always tied to how the economy was doing. When new home sales were up and new construction and remodeling was going good, the products I was selling were doing good. But then around 2005 or so, when it kind of really started to go downwards and not really ever come back up. It wasn't like the peaks and valleys. It was like just straight valley, and it just wasn't turning around for me. It's right. It just kept going. It felt like it just kept going that way. I was working in a sales job, and then I was taking on like multiple part-time jobs to supplement income, and then I found myself to be working all the time, like just nonstop, like 2-3 jobs I would be working, and throughout the week, and I would never have days off, because on my days off I would go and work and do things for different money. And when I started looking further and further into it, I started thinking back about the way I grew up, and I grew up in a home to a single mother with 3 kids, and that was all she did. She just worked. She worked 3 jobs to keep food on the table and give us clothes and all the things. And I started thinking, like, I'm starting to duplicate that same kind of pattern. I'm just working all the time, working all that time, and not really having anything for providing for myself and family, and then not having anything extra, not being able to take vacations or do anything like that. And when I had lost one of my jobs, or my main job, my main source of income, I had decided to go back to school, and I went back to business school, ironically, for marketing. And the thing was that the marketing that they were teaching was still kind of old school marketing, and how to, because the teachers and professors weren't familiar with using the internet for marketing or using internet promotion or advertising and different things like that. They would say that you needed to do it, but they wouldn't tell you how to do it or couldn't teach you how to do it because they had never done it before. So I came online and started looking for different ways to promote and learn about like doing online marketing, and that's when I stumbled across Empower. And this was technically in like 2012, but I really didn't come into it till Chicago, like Catherine said. And so it's been about just a little bit over a year, and it's just been invaluable, the amount of training and information that I've been able to get from the Empower products. And going into the iPAS system, and we talked a little bit about this before, is that it's allowing people to actually have a business set up and going as kind of like an online franchise that you can have going up and running in relatively simple steps, but then be able to earn money while you're learning, because like we said, it's going to take a lot of time to go through all the particular products and break them down. And I know for a fact that I've watched several of those videos probably 5 and 6 times, and some of them more than that you go back through, and every time you go back through, it's like you catch something new that you can implement or that you can change. So it takes a lot of time to go through all the products. So why not have something set up that's simple enough that people can get that kind of off the ground and running, and then earn while you learn and have the money coming in, or have the money coming into your business while you're going through the products and getting to master whatever skills that you want to learn. So that was what brought me here. That's what brought me to the iPAS system, and it's just going to be unbelievable for everybody to have, basically, like we were saying, like an online franchise that is their own business, that before would take you years of school or maybe years of failing to figure out what you did wrong. Now you're going to get, everyone else has already went through all those trials and the ups and downs and found out what works and what converts and how to put it all together and how to link it together and what steps for the system for people to go through. Now we've got all that done for you, to where you just kind of got to just put in a little bit of information and do a little bit of work, and you've got a business off the ground and running.
Yeah, Jay, you are so right. The Empower products are definitely the best products out there. They the best training of anything I have ever seen, and that's but it still takes a lot of work. And I just sent out a letter, and a lot of people got a chance to see this, but really there's a few different methods of making it in this world. And one is you work your butt off in a job, and you have to show up when they tell you to show up. You've got to do what they tell you to do. You get to go home when they tell you that you can go home. You don't really have a life. It's the corporate rat race, or even if you're working at McDonald's, they suck. It sucks to have a job, and then there's the there's the multi-level marketing system, and I'm definitely not knocking it, but it's the reason that that Empower was actually invented is because of discussions I had and other people had with David Wood about what they saw wrong with most of the multi-level marketing systems that were out there, and so I am extremely excited that that something I said actually had some influence in creating all this. But then you could do affiliate marketing, and that's getting harder and harder. That's when you're just trying to sell other people's stuff, and you're always looking for something to buy or that you can sell and promote, and that's getting harder and harder now. And so we have all the training, but you've still got to go and do a lot of the work. You've got to go through all those trainings, and you've got to learn the ways to get traffic and the ways to promote Empower Network or whatever it is you're trying to promote. And so I was and as you guys know, or a lot of you know, that I was with Chris and Chris. I saw the iPAS system before it was even iPAS, originally about 4 years ago, when they were putting together something, but I saw they were trying to set up an automated system, even at that time, where the average person could just plug in and could start going immediately. And so, but it's taken a lot of work, and any of you who've been around for a while, there was an iPAS a year ago. We thought we had it cinched. It still wasn't working for a lot of people, and so we said, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's try it again. And so we went back to the drawing board, and now iPAS2. So I've been waiting 4 years for this. I've just been waiting for months. I've been waiting 4 years for the system that we have now to actually come on board, and because it's so simple that everybody can do it. It really is a plug-and-play system, and I know there's a lot of them out there, and I've clicked on every one of them. I'm sure, and you guys probably have too. Their plug-and-play systems aren't plug-and-play at all. It's like, well, here we're gonna throw you up a website. Well, it is the crappiest looking website in the world, and say, but now you've got to go and get traffic to it. Oh well. Duh! I mean, that was the hard part anyway. I've got to hire, somebody off of Fiverr made me a website, but you guys, oh great, you charged me whatever, $47.97, $197, $597, whatever it was, for your automated system, and all it was to push your crappy products, and give me a website that wasn't any good anyway. And it's like, now I still got to drive traffic to it. Well, that's not automated. That's not an automated system, folks. What you need is a real system, and that's what iPAS2 is. And real quick with my background, I guess when I was 12 years old, longer than that, my family, there was two sides to my family. There was the working guys that just went out and just did their job every day, and then there was the other side that they were business owners, and so I had both sides to look at, and I saw both of them were rough. I mean, owning your own business is no piece of cake, but I saw that they had more freedom and usually more money, and I always thought, well, that would be really cool. But my dad was very strict, and he was so like, get a job, get an education, get a job, and But when I was 12 years old, I was able to subscribe to 2 magazines, and they were Popular Science and Success Unlimited. And so, and all my life I've had both. I've worked a full-time job, and I've owned numerous businesses, brick and mortar businesses, home businesses of any kind there was. So I've got years and years and years of experience. But I've learned from some of the best out there. W. Clement Stone, so you'll probably have to look him up. But then I pulled up my picture, so I'm going to show this off. So this is me with some of my crew. That's me, in case nobody can recognize me. And that tall guy in the middle, that's Donald Trump. So, I had a chance to work with Donald Trump and meet him and talk to him and spend some time with him. And by the way, I have his autograph too. So this is one of his books, Why We Want You to Be Rich. And it's a good book. Really, I'll read it. But there's his autograph if anybody wants to steal it. Anyway, but I learned negotiating skills from Donald Trump. I learned success skills from W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill, who basically they work together very closely. So over the years, I've had a chance to see both sides. When the internet came online, even though I could build computers and I could program computers, I didn't know anything about the internet except how to dig information up for my job, and I had no idea you could actually make money on that thing. I wish I had a lot earlier. But I started looking at different people, and Chris Campbell and Chris Jones. We don't see much of Chris Campbell anymore, but he's still around. So he's every time Chris Jones comes on, he's like, I'm the co-creator of iPAS2, and the other co-creator is Chris Campbell, who's a younger guy, but they both are new fathers. So they're both kind of busy, obviously. But I saw what they were trying to create, and I've been in multi-level marketing, and then I had this discussion with them, and I was in Numis Network with David Wood, and I went up to him at the No Excuses, at the second No Excuses event in Las Vegas, if anybody ever goes there. And I was saying, Dave, I'm in your downline, or I am your downline, and it's like, I can't get a hold of you. And it's funny, as so his upline, was there, and they said, well, you can cut, we'll do 3 ways with you, and because David doesn't have a phone. He lives in Costa Rica, and I know he lives in Costa Rica and doesn't have a phone. But I went to him and I said, I really have a problem with the multi-level marketing system, because I know 98% of the people fail, and for you to succeed, you need those 98% to fail, because that's those people making their auto ship payments every month is what gives you your nice commissions. And so even if one of them, and any of them could, would be able to rise up through the ranks and become a double diamond or whatever, they would still have to have a 98% group that would be supporting him or her. And I said, I really have a problem with that method, that methodology. It's like, I can do it, you can do it, but a lot of people can't do it. And yet they, they're just pushing out their, they're just paying their auto ship and just, they're just plugging along, but that's all they're doing. And I said, I have a problem with that. And he said, yeah, I have a real problem with that too. And he said, and I'm working on some things. And so I said, really? Okay. And so when the Empower Network was started, he contacted me and said, you got to come to Orlando. And I was like, I don't want to go to Orlando. I live in Seattle. And he said, no, you've got to come to Orlando if you want to find out the answer to your question. I said, criminy, David. Okay. So I did, and I'm glad I did. It was like 24 of us started out in this hotel room, and he And Chris Rushlow, you know, which I had developed a really close friendship with by this time because of our 2-hour conversation on the phone of him trying to get me down to Costa Rica. He, which I wish I had, you know, at this point, I wish I had quit my job and went down there. Actually, I would have been a lot better off, but because I could have way more money. Lawrence Tam, if anybody, you know, I'm sure you guys know him. He and I we were both in that hotel room, and we, you know, and he kept a full-time job as an engineer also, but he was still, you know, he was what, making $20,000 a month or something like that. He got laid off, and now, you know, he's got his $1 million ring. He's like making buku money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So, you know, I should have quit my job at that time and went to Costa Rica, and I'd been a lot better off probably. But I didn't, because, you know, I had my dad in the back of my head saying, you got to go to work, you got to go to work, got to go to work. And that whole methodology, it does not work. I'm sorry, but it's the way our school system is set up. It's the way, you know, our work environment is set up. You've got to have the troops. Unfortunately, it's all based on the Prussian military system, and, you know, no questions, just do what you're told. And so the ones that follow in that path, they help make the rest of the people rich. So the people who failed in school are the ones that are making millions now. Us A students, you know, we just keep making other people rich. So, and now I have a really good job because I get to just test airplanes. And most people would just die to just have my job. So I have a really hard time leaving it because it's really, I have such flexibility. You know, unless I'm in the middle of testing an airplane like it was when Chris called me and said, go to Costa Rica, but if I'm not, you know, I've got a lot of flexibility to do what I want, and because of that, you know, I guess I've still stayed around longer than I should have in that world. But for the most part, most people, they have jobs that pretty much suck, or they're dependent on the economy. And so, do you want to be stuck in that position where you know, if the economy starts going down, all of a sudden you don't have a job? That's, you know, that's not a good place to be. And right now, I know a lot of people that are looking at retirement, and they think they've got a, you know, $100,000, a couple $100,000 in the bank, and they're ready to retire. You know, that could, well, it's not in the bank. Unfortunately, it's in the stock market, and we know what happened in the stock market. And, you know, if they had a $500,000 house, we know what's happened to the housing market. I mean, these last 10 years should have shown us something. Don't be dependent on, I've got money in the bank, I got money in the stock market, and I got equity in my house. Those could go away overnight. Only thing you have is you. And all you've been doing is making other people rich all this time. It's about time you use your skills or learn some new skills and make other people rich. And with the iPAS2 system, it's just a no-brainer, because all you've got to do, you don't have to create traffic. Now we know all we have to do is plug in the traffic, set it in the system, and out comes the money, essentially, because the whole system's set up. And I've got some screenshots, but you know, let's just, you know, anybody else have any words of wisdom here? Because I don't want to take over the whole conversation before I bring up these screenshots and start describing this, because that was the only comment I got back last time. It was like, well, tell us, you know, give us some more info on iPAS system, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess we didn't really do that. So I wanted to show a few screenshots that I got from Chris Jones. And but go ahead, throw some comments out there, and then I'll do that.
I think that it's probably important for people to know what that stands for, iPAS.
Sure, go ahead.
I know Internet, and I know acceleration system. The P is for
Prospecting.
Prospect.
prospecting. Okay, so internet
Acceleration
prospecting
system.
and
Yes.
acceleration system. Okay.
iPAS2, which there has actually been in the last 4 years about, it should be more like 202 iterations of iPAS.
But you,
Two.
oh,
Let's go ahead.
sorry, Roy. I was going to say iPAS also stands for Income Producing Activity System.
Yeah,
There you go. There it is.
that's a good one.
That's what I tell my clients, because it is income producing. I mean, that's what that's what it is, and it is a system. So,
Right.
and we teach, right? We teach our teams that you have to be doing something every day that's income producing.
That's
That's
right.
what'll get you the money.
Right.
That's the thing too. I think I was on a hangout the other day with a guy who was actually in a traditional MLM, and I was just talking to him about, because he was excited because now they're going to be able to sell their products in these other countries. Well, the thing is, they're going to be able to sell these products in their other countries, but they don't teach anything about how to do any marketing or promoting or anything like that online. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you can sell them in other countries. What are you going to do? Like take planes over there and and go and belly up to people and talk to them. So I was just talking to him about. I said, if you're in a perfect situation on a perfect day, like if you're at a mall or a shopping center or something like that, and everything, I go, if the day was just perfect and everything was perfect and people were just all over the place and you could go up to them and talk to them. I said, like, how many on a perfect day, how many people could you actually talk to about your business? He said, I don't know, I could probably approach maybe 50 to 100 people, maybe approach. And then he said, I probably, if everything was just perfectly aligned, he's like, I may be able to get a conversation with maybe 10 or so of them.
Right.
And it's like, how many times, how much time does that take in a day for you to only talk to 10 people? And with a system like this, you're learning techniques and have a system in place to where everything is automated, to where you can literally put a video out there, market it and syndicate it and get it promoted, and you're getting thousands of people to look at that video each day. It's like, how long would it take you to have those thousands of conversations, like 2,000-3,000 conversations,
Right.
10 people at a time, in a mall? And then not only that, you got to talk to them wherever you're talking to them, and then you got to get them from there to either let you come into their house or come to a hotel meeting, and then you still got to do another pitch, on top of that. It's like, why not have systems in place where this is all automated and does everything for you, all the selling and telling is done for you, plus that same amount of 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people can be watching that video or watching the sales process while you're asleep. And so it's just, even if you're promoting an MLM product, it's just, you've got to start implementing the automated strategies, because otherwise you're gonna you're not gonna be a very happy person if you've got to spend 16 hours a day prospecting and then maybe, if you're lucky, get 2-3 people a month possibly.
Absolutely. I mean, and think about, out of those 24 people and the people who came in the first month or two of Empower Network, most of them all went out and used the skills that they learned in Empower, and people are still doing that and starting other businesses and becoming extremely successful. So, if anybody's out there and they're into a multi-level marketing or into affiliate marketing, and they want to, raise their game up several levels, they really need this system. They can use the same concepts that iPAS. They can use all the training in Empower, and they'll take their game from wherever they're at 10, 100 times it, 1,000 times it. And I mean, look, Lawrence Tam, he took that same that training just from the Empower Network, and he turned around and had an MLM business that was bringing in like hundreds of thousands of dollars for him. And and the only kicker was, then they came back and said, you can't be promoting Empower Network if you're going to be in our organization. And they thought he would quit Empower. He didn't. He gave all of that up and said, no, Empower is where the real money is. That's where the real training is. and I can find another MLM just like that, and I can be at the top of the ranks again. I can do that in a second. Well, not in a second, but within 90 days, he could go to any MLM knowing what he knows and what he learned in Empower Network and all this training that we have. And in 90 days, he could be back to $100,000 a year in that in any MLM business. So he definitely made the right choice.
Well, that was the thing we talked about last week about how much that there's people on the outside that maybe underestimate how much that these products are actually products and actually training materials. A lot of people think, oh, it's just something that you go to use it, just to get money, and they underestimate or don't put enough credit in the actual training and products and systems that we have in place where you can actually grow, no matter if it's this business or whatever business you're in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So.
We see it.
You can see it? Okay, good. Yeah. So just to give everybody a background, okay, so you can see my mouse cursor?
Yep.
Okay, so the system, just, so everybody can get kind of a good feel for this, just like anything, we have traffic.
Okay, we can't
traffic.
See your screen. I can't see your screen right now.
Now you can't see my screen?
No, I can't.
I can see the screen, but you can barely see the little cursor.
Oh, okay. Wonder how I can make the cursor bigger. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. We'll start at the left. Just start at the left side of your screen, and it says traffic.
There you go. Yeah.
I see it now. Yes.
Lead magnet. Okay. So, so just like anything, we have to have traffic. Well, just like all those other plug-and-play system that were out there that says, oh, this is all you got to do. Here's a web page, and here's our products, and you just drive traffic and make us a lot of money, which is essentially what they were looking for me to do. And they'd give me 20, 30, 40% commissions, and from doing that, and I was doing all their work for them, and that was like, this is not a business in a box, guys. That is not a business in a box. Well, we have places where you can get traffic from. Now, you can either generate your own traffic, and anybody who has taken has the ITF, Internet Traffic Formula from Vic, we know how to generate a lot of traffic now. So you can do that, or it's provided within the iPAS system. Now, as long as you're at the gold level in Power or iPAS Gold, then the traffic is just provided for you. You just, however much you want. You got $100 a week to spend, then you start out with $100 a week. And so then it goes into the capture pages that we provide. Now there again, traffic and capture pages you can do your own once you get trained. But in the beginning, the easiest way to do it is just throw couple $100 a week, whatever you can, because the more, it's like any business. You can have the greatest sandwiches in the world, but if nobody ever knows that you're out there, nobody's going to come to your sandwich shop, and you're going to be closed in 30 days. So as soon as all your bills are due. So you have to drive traffic. You have to advertise, no matter what the business is. And we have the top advertising sources already, and you get with Lynn. She'll show you how to do it with Facebook, or get with Catherine or Jay, or get with anybody on this panel, and we're happy to give some help. We're here to help, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this. We want to help people understand the process, and we don't care if you're in our downline or not. It doesn't matter. In fact, everybody's in my downline, well, to some degree or not, because I'm Chris and Chris's sponsor. So almost everybody that's on here that's tied to Chris and Chris are in my downline, and in some respect or another. And as one of the original 24, I have a lot of people in my downline because of that. Helpful. It does help to be first, I have to admit. And actually, I was if you watch the video of David, when David Sharp was describing the Empower Network, I'm standing right next to him. So, you know, I was like the first one or two people to actually join Empower Network. So anyway, so you start with the traffic in the capture pages, but then it goes to a $7 tripwire offer. Now, what is a tripwire offer? Tripwire offer is something that is so amazingly it's just it's like if somebody offered you a $100 bill for $10, you know, you'd probably not take it because you figure there'd be something wrong. But it's that same equivalent. It's a $7 product that's got a perceived value of like $20, $30, $40, and so it's like a no-brainer. It's like, really, $7? Yeah, for that, I would take that. And once they do that, then they're in the system. Then you've captured them, and even if they don't like that $7 offer, we give them another option for another $7 offer. And then but if they don't take either one of those, then they start getting a series of emails that are not just sales emails, but we provide value, and that's just all automated. You don't have to do anything. It's all automated. You'll get your prospects will get these emails, and that will and you know, I've seen a lot of the emails, and so usually you give 2 or 3 value emails, and then, you know, it's like, hey, you know, or at the end of the email is like, hey, you know, the $7 offer is still available, and here's what you could be doing with it. So these emails just keep going out to them, and eventually, and we have the numbers here pretty soon. We can show you. People will buy the $7 offer, but then once they've done that, now their wallet's open, and that's exactly what that's what you want. If you're going to make any money, you've got to have a low-cost offer that has a high perceived value, and then once you've got them through that, and you say, wow, you know, I got all that for $7, then you hit them with, well, here, look at this, for $47 more, we have this. Oh my gosh, look at this. And it's got a perceived value of, and like I said, my good friend Dagan Smith, he was telling me one time when I was setting up a system that he was helping me set up, he said, it's got to have at least 4 times to 7 times the value, perceived value. And so you've got a $47 offer, and it's got to have enough value to your prospect that it's worth $100 or $200, worth a couple $100 to them. Maybe it'll make them several $1,000s, and then then you go into the $97 offer. It's the upsell. So your $47 is your main offer, and then you always try to upsell to the $97. And whether they take that or not, but if they do, then it's real easy to go into what's called the profit maximizer.
Roy?
Yes.
Don't mean to interrupt, but I can't see your diagram. Can you see it, Catherine?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay. So some people.
Okay, so there it is now. Okay.
That's weird.
It seems like when you talk, it goes away.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah. It's like it's not fixed on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have to figure out how to do that. Okay. I should just shut up and let one of you describe.
Well, no, because then it goes to our picture.
Oh, it goes to your picture too, so that doesn't help. Okay. Okay, so I'll just shut up for a little bit. And,
no, you're doing a great job. This is awesome.
Well, if they can't see it, it's not much value. So
yeah.
Shut up to let people kind of grasp, going from the left to the right, and you get to the $97 offer, and then because I don't want to take them into the profit maximizer, so I'm going to shut up for 5-10 seconds here.
Didn't come back. I don't know what's wrong with it.
You know
There,
what's weird is because on my screen I've seen it the whole time. It hasn't disappeared. So it's like
Okay, so
everyone's got a
now
different
it's
view.
back. I don't know. So maybe we can't see it and the audience can.
I hope so. Anyway,
We've
it,
got people on here because I'm watching the chat and stuff, and we got some questions. So no one has said that they can't see it, so we should
okay.
be okay.
Okay, so maybe maybe it's something just with this the administrators. Anyway, so that takes us. That's the iPAS system, and the whole reason for the iPAS system is to cover. Well, there's two reasons really. One, well, three. Well, there's several actually, but it gives you the traffic. It has the capture pages. It has the follow-up emails, and it has the tripwire offers that help get people's wallets open and their credit cards floating toward the computer, as David Wood might say. But but the other thing is this pays for all your traffic. You should be able to either break even or come very close or maybe make some money on every one of these products. So that all your traffic is then now paid for, and so now that goes into the Profit Maximizer, which is the Empower Network and all their incredible products. But instead of buying one at a time, which has always been my pet peeve with David and the Empower Network, and he said, no, this is the way I want to do it, and so that was one of the big things I wanted not to do when we set up the iPAS system. So I got my way finally. Now you buy it in groups, and we will talk about that. But the Profit Maximizer, you can make $5,000 or very close to $5,000 on the Profit Maximizer, and this could be any upsell. So you could use this system and have any high-end offer in the background. I know some people sell, a lot of high-end offers like coaching and training, and so you can do this. You could use this system for anything you want. So you own, as an iPAS member, for free, you get all of that iPAS system right now. And it's still today. Now, if you wait, you're going to have to pay for it. But if you sign up today with whoever your sponsor is or whoever sent you to this webinar, sign up with them and say, yes, I want to join iPAS2 because it's free. You get this whole system. Put it in front of anything you want to do. But we're going to put it in front of the Empower Network. Why? Because it pays 100% commissions, and we don't have to create a high-end offer. We don't have to create a coaching program. And believe me, I've been spending 3 years putting together a coaching program, and it's not easy. So, and I've gotten some of the best people in the world out there to help me do it. So I have some of the top coaches that are available, helping me put this thing together. So, and it's expensive. So why not own something that that's already been built and proven? 2.5 years of proof that the Empower Network has the best training, the best blogging system, the best everything out there in the market, and we're going to start taking everybody's downline away from them. Once people start seeing this and seeing the money they can make, they're not going to be satisfied with $200 or $300 in their multi-level marketing companies anymore. They're going to say iPAS and Empower Network. We have all kinds of, you can send out emails. We have text messaging. We have live events. And the most incredible thing is you have a coach. So as soon as somebody starts into this system, into the iPAS system, they get a personal coach. As long as you're a black member, you want to become an iPAS2 black member. This is critical, because how cool is it that you can be setting out on a beach and don't have to worry about you know, your phone ringing off the hook, being on the computer, holding somebody's hand, helping, because we all want to help people, but it takes up all your time. If you help people, then you're not making money. By having a personal coach, you can spend 100% of your time when you want to work making money. And you don't have to do anything to help these people along. They will actually have a professional coach. So if you don't want to talk to anybody on the phone like David would, you don't have to. I wish he'd given me a professional coach because, you know, like I said, he's uncallable. You know, I have to, you know, get him on Facebook or Skype once in a while. But lucky if you can do that. And so this is where we're at, and the profit maximizer. This kind of blows it up a little bit more, so people can see. But this is what you have: all these value-added services with Empower Network, the training that's incredible. But hey, $5,000, you could make $5,000 on each person that comes through your system. And this kind of, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but say if you put in $1,000, and really reasonably, if you want to have a real business, you need to be putting in $1,000 in for traffic. That should get you about 428 visitors. This is numbers we've been running, and this is, you know, what we've been seeing. You'll get 8%, you know, will sign up for the tripwire offer, and that's pretty good. You should get that 30% of those 8% will go for the $47 core offer, and then 30% of those, that 30% will go in for your upsells. And so now I want to, well, and then we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want everybody to be very clear on what it takes for each area. And like I said, this is the part that I got to win out on, because the one thing I didn't like about the Empower Network is starting people with a $25 blogging program and then having to every single program work them up to. That was grueling. I mean, the people who wanted to sign up. Lynn, you did this, right? You did it all at one time.
I did it all at one time, yeah.
Yeah, painful, wasn't it?
Well, I enjoyed it, though. I mean, the training is phenomenal, but yeah.
I mean, you're just signing up for it, each individual program.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Painful.
Exactly.
The sign-up process. So now...
Yeah, you had to go back in and, yeah, sign up. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Put in all, you know,
yeah,
everything again. Now we have the Silver, which is your 297 Viral Blogging Academy. People kept saying, we don't know how to blog. Well, okay, we fixed that. You have the Blogging Academy. You will now know how to blog. You get the $25 a month blogging system, which is by far the if you wanted to set up a blog, you know, anybody can do that, and you can do it for free. Well, not free. You got to get a URL. You got to post. It's not free. It's still, and it's a pain, and you have to do it all yourself. This $25 a month, you can go in and start putting in. You can write. You can put in audios. You can put in video, and it gets out to the world. People actually see it, because you know, we rank so high in the well, our Alexa scores. We're over, I don't remember. Anyway, in the top 200 in the world, or in the U.S., something like that. Anyway, but the first thing you have to do is this. If you can see my cursor, $19.95 a month. You have to get to be in an iPAS system, even if you do nothing else. You really need. You've got to do this $19.95 a month Empower Network affiliate. So anyway, that's it. To become a silver member, that's all you have to do. Now, once you've been a silver member, now you want to become a gold member, because this is where you can get our traffic sources, where all you have to do is just put in the money, and we give you the best traffic that's available out there in the market today. And as Chris says, nobody, you know, it's a rough world where you have to generate your own traffic, but but most of the gurus actually have sources, and you have access to those sources where you can get your traffic already for you. And that just means you have to join the $100 a month inner circle, which is audio trainings that you need to listen to every day. The High Ticket Academy, how you can sell high ticket items. The 15K formula, which is to me is the best training out there. It's well worth $10,000, $20,000, but we let you have it, for a measly $1,000, and it's always been definitely over delivered for that price. So at that level, you get your traffic, but then upgrade. It just takes getting the master's course, $3,500 more, and believe me, I was there. I was in Costa Rica when we created the master's course, and just one of those, like what Dagan did, can take your business from where it is to quadrupling the value just in his one little module that he taught, and probably even more if you really understood what he was teaching. And you got to go through his stuff, that module, several times to really grasp it. And believe me, he's my coach, so I understand his system pretty well. And then you pay $97 a month, and then you have a business coach for each one of your people. This is such a no-brainer. $97 a month to have a business coach. Why would you ever pay $39.95 and not have a business coach? That would just be the dumbest thing in the world. $95 a month. You get a business coach for everyone that signs up, and that is definitely the way to go. So I'm going to I don't know how to get back. Now, let's see. But anyway, I'm going to shut up because I've been on too long.
That was good.
Okay.
It was.
But that's what people wanted. Now I want to start. Let's answer questions. Jay, you've got questions.
Yeah, I'll do that question in a minute. I just want to say real quick about because these are kind of the questions that keep coming up over and over. Is that first of all, you can't skip levels. So you can't say right now you were all in with all the core products, but you never bought the Viral Blogging Academy or you never bought the High Ticket Academy. Then you're not at the iPAS Black level. You can't skip levels, so you have to have all the products up into the level that you're at. So you have to have the Viral Blogging Academy. You have to have the High Ticket Academy. Yes. You have to have the Inner Circle. You have to have the what am I missing? Did I miss one? And then you have to have obviously the Masters to be Black. So you have to have all those products. You can't be at a level. You can't be at a silver level or the gold level without having all the products to be at the
silver. Yes.
Silver.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the other question always comes up about what about the Costa Rica Intensive, because that was brought up in the beginning, and people need to realize that the High Ticket Academy replaced the Costa Rica Intensive as far as the iPAS levels.
Yes.
And then one other thing too, I feel like probably somewhere along the line we probably should have had some income disclaimers. So make sure you go ahead and check out the income disclaimers at the link below. We've got the links for the where you can see the actual daily stats as far as incomes go. Nice. And then the question that's on here is from Carrie. It says, I have 81 referrals. I sent them emails just saying hello and how excited I am, and no one has responded. Is that normal? So I think she's saying she has 81 referrals into the iPAS2, the free system.
Yeah.
And she sent just an introduction email, but no one has responded.
Now I noticed in mine that and I've got quite a few, that several people put in bogus emails. So I'm wondering, did she get any feedback, or she probably just sent them through the autoresponder? She needs to check her stats in the autoresponder and see if they're some of the emails were bad. But out of 81, there has to be at least 80% or 90% that are actually real emails. And I don't know, people maybe just depends on how she contacted them. If she did it through her autoresponder, then there's probably, I don't know, people may not have responded. If she individually sent each of them an email, that would have been a little tough, but I guess she could have done it. And if she made it personal, then I'd be very surprised. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Well, normally when you send
go ahead, Catherine.
Okay. Normally when you send emails out, you may not get a response if it's through your autoresponder.
Right.
So she shouldn't be very concerned about that. I would keep communicating with them though and build a relationship.
Yes.
And like, with the Hangouts, let them see what's going on. And there's other ways to interact as well. She can possibly make her own videos and send to the list. So there's a lot of ways to interact with your list.
Right.
And that's the thing too.
Yeah, get them to this Hangout. Yes.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, it depends on your email, what's your call to action towards the end there. What do you want them to do? Click the link to watch the Hangout, or click the link, or to contact me, or whatever. But I haven't had any problems. I mean, I think people are waiting for this thing to to get on board, and then I think you'll see a lot of people taking action.
Right. I've been sending out more emails just to remind them to make sure they're set up. This is for my regular list, to make sure they set up for their free account, because once it goes live, then they lose that $167 or $147 worth of product. All the tripwire and the upsells you're going to get right now, you're going to get for free. But once the system goes live, if you want to set up your iPass system, then you're going to actually have to buy those products. So I sent out some reminders, kind of just as a no-brainer, to get signed up for your free account now. And then that's the other thing I was going to say too is that I don't get a lot of response. I mean, I get some responses back to some of my emails, but I look at see if people are clicking on my links, and like Lynn said, have your call to action in there. Always have a call to action in there, and then track that to see if people are clicking on your links because that's what you told them to do, and things like that. I personally, I have been doing, and everyone does their own thing, but I have been capturing my own leads and then using the iPass, the page as a landing page, because that way I don't have to export my leads and then email them separate. I do my own capture page, then have the main iPass free page as my landing page. That way I can just have that list and send out emails to them, the way we would to, as you would your normal subscribers. But that's just the way I've been doing it. But not everyone, necessarily has to do it that way. And then we've got another question. Did someone else have anything else on that?
The other thing is, this is something that Russell Brunson, and I've in some of my discussions with him, and he likes to use SurveyMonkey. So once you send out a welcome email or something, send out a survey. Go to SurveyMonkey, and you can incorporate that in your autoresponder, and that sometimes gets them to to take some action too. So that's another thought. Just wanted to throw that out there. So what's the next question?
You may have to go back to unless you know this number offhand, you might have to go look at your slide. Mark is asking, what's the total for black? You have to pay at each levels for black. So what would that total be? I know I don't remember the total now. I mean, I'm going to add it up.
We can go back to the slide, but it's approximately $5,000. And what and this is what I'm going to be promoting once it's actually live, because I'm setting up a whole different system for when we actually iPass is live. That I'm requiring people to have close to $10,000 to talk to me. And so and because I want them to have enough money to go black and to be able to pump in another $5,000 into the traffic. And if they can just do that, they're gold. I mean, or they're black, but they can just, it'll just keep feeding itself, and they won't have to come up with another dime And that may be overkill, but see, I'm looking at going after professionals. You wouldn't believe the number of lawyers and doctors and, you know, just professional people out there that they don't have a retirement, a lot of them, and their retirement is whatever they could come up with. And to put them into a system like this for less than $10,000, they think you're a miracle worker. And especially once I show it to them, it's been huge.
That's the thing too. I think people don't realize that there's a lot of normal people who are still working their jobs that are doing this business. And even in that room we were in Seattle, which was fairly a small crowd, and they just did that kind of quick asking, was there any doctors in the room? And I think there was like 4 doctors, and I think there was like 3 chiropractors. So I mean, there's a lot of people that are working,
Yes.
40 to 60 hours a week, and then they've got this going, on the side, or they're using it to help promote those, using the techniques and strategies that they're learning here to help promote those businesses. So that's the thing that I like about this, and this is why I feel like this is the most beneficial to being a black member, is that you've got, not only do you got your online franchise, you got everything set up for you, then essentially you pretty much have basically an employee working that business for you and doing some of the hand-holding through the process to free up some more time to where you can basically, like Roy said, essentially you can have this set up, and then if you're in a position to, you can just keep throwing money at it as far as, for traffic and driving traffic, and then it's kind of running, it's running itself to a point. I mean, you still got to work it, but it's the most the most hands-free of anything I've seen. Yes.
Right.
But if you can throw a few $1,000s at it in the very beginning, there'll be plenty of money coming out that you never have to invest another dime.
Right, and the thing that, like I said, just the benefit of having that coach, if you're not at that level yet where you feel comfortable talking to each of your new members come in, and that you feel that you're going to be able to upgrade them and work them through, explain the ins and outs of the system, the benefit to them, then why not have somebody else do that until either you feel comfortable with it, or just why not have somebody else do that to give you time to work on what you want to do as far as growing your business.
So I see what Mark's got here. So you have to pay for each of the levels at black. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but you just have to pay. Go ahead. You
have to start with the first level and pay for that, then the second, and then the black.
Right. So you have to come in. So right now you get iPAS part of it for free, but once it goes live, you're going to have to, each level of there, you're going to have to pay for it, $7, $47, $97, whatever it is. And then you have to go silver, gold, or black. And
can I just add here, Roy, that, I know we've been talking about the black card membership, which is awesome, and a little bit of the gold. So I believe, too, that the silver is a great way for people that want to get introduced to online marketing or having a business and that kind of thing. If I would have had this system first,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? We wouldn't have been struggling, all these years with the gurus and all that kind of thing. So this is just the best opportunity for really anybody that has some seriousness to to the fact that this is a business. This isn't just a money machine that just drops from the clouds or anything like that. You have to learn and earn and all that kind of thing, and put some time into it. You're going to have to work on your your personal development and that kind of thing, and listen to your team leaders and the coaches and the mentoring that are all part of this as well because of the Empower Network. Empower Network's community is just outstanding. It's the best community I've ever been around, and I have never been around right now so many millionaires in my life.
Right. Isn't that great?
So that in itself is an advantage because you learn from the people that you want to strive to become or have that lifestyle or whatever it is. So I just want to interject that because that silver level is perfect for people that want to get in and then move up, move themselves up.
Well, and that's why we did it. We broke it down so people can start at the blogging level. That's essentially what the silver level is the blogging level. It gives you the blogging platform, the best out there, bar none. And then it has the programs that show you how to blog, because that was always my, people always ask, well, now I don't know what to do with it. Well, you get that all as a package now. You get the whole thing, and it's so, it's not very expensive really to start in, and then you make some money, because even people, and I think we talked about this last week, is if you have no money, you've got to blog. And you've got to, learn Facebook, and you got get a hold of Lynn, and she'll show you how to use, LinkedIn. She's the expert in LinkedIn. I'm going to be contacting her, by the way, my other coaching business. But that's the kind of things you have to do when you don't have the money. Now I'm going after the market that has the professionals, because that's who I associate with. I have a lot of doctor friends. I have a lot of lawyer friends, and I see what they've been asking for, and this fits them perfectly. But there are people out there that don't have $5,000–$10,000, and so you have to start them with the silver level and let them start blogging and learn the system. Then they can build up to the gold level, and then the black level is where they ultimately want to go, so they can have that personal coach for each one of their people, because it's if you want true time freedom, having that personal coach is going to make all the difference in the world to having true time freedom. And I was really hoping to show that video of the do you have that handy, Lynn, of the money that can be made, or do you want to just wait till next week and do that?
The money that can be made.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine? You mean Catherine?
Oh, was it Catherine that had that?
Oh, okay.
That the YouTube video that was.
Yeah.
Because Chris's is way too, takes way too long to go through his. And
oh yeah, his is 2 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, and so here's a quickie little video. If anybody has it handy, you can take control and show it, or we can just do it next week if you think we've been on long enough. Because I don't want to burn everybody out. So do you want to cut this? And
maybe that's a good thing for next week to introduce people to.
I think it would be. So we'll have Catherine, if you can have that ready to show, I'd like to do that next week for everybody.
Okay.
With that, okay. Any last words, everybody? I
think that the traffic is available only if you are gold.
That is correct. Yes.
Members cannot purchase through the co-op. Right.
Yes, that is correct. You have to be gold level to get access to our traffic sources. And but anybody who's, I'm willing to give people, some help if they need to dig up their own traffic. So we're all available to. I hope that's why you come out here, because you want to help people. And so even if you're not in our downlines or whatever, get in touch with us and on Facebook, and we'll be happy to help, or in in our Facebook chats. Okay.
Right.
Jay, any last words?
My last thing would just be to kind of follow up on kind of what Lynn said, because I would say come in with what level. I got thrown off. I think we might have another question here. Is come in with whatever level you can come in at now, but just make sure that you get in. So if you can only come in at the silver level right now, come in at the silver level, but have the intention and the plan to know that where you want to be at is at that black level. So come in at whatever level you can come at now, and then just know that you want to be at that higher level, and just do whatever it takes to get to that level. So work your way up the system, because I know it may just sound like it's a kind of a mental thing, but I know for me, I wasn't in a position where when I came into Empower, where I could get all the products at once. So I came in just before Chicago, and I came in all the way in everything up into the Masters. And then, but I didn't realize that it was affecting me not having that Masters. I just knew that I wanted to have it like one day.
Right.
but then it was like just like a mental thing. And then I was at Denver when I went to at Denver. They had the big thing for all the different all-in people, and I was like, I will never leave or never be at another event and not be in a position where I'm all in. So I got that right after, within like 2 days of Denver, within like the following 3 or 4 days, wherever it was, I was able to come up with the money and get that master's, and it was like the weight just was lifted off of my shoulders, because I think it's just a mental thing. You feel like, oh, do I really want to give someone else $3,000? You know, and it's like, I think that's what it was, and it's like you don't realize like how much it's like weighing on you. But as soon as I did, like everything changed for me. So it's like just always have it in, have the intention that come in at whatever level you can come in right now, but just always make the plan to eventually be at that black level as soon as possible, because it's just gonna make things a lot easier for you.
Yeah. Okay, Lynn, you're our first. You know, so you can be our last.
Oh, well, I'm just excited, and Roy, I think you, I'm glad you showed the little diagram there and all that kind of good stuff. I think that showed people, you know, what the system looks like or does in its increments, and so I think that's really helpful. And I'm just excited. I think this is just, I can't believe how, you know, together with the Empower Network products and this system, it's just going to be, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Okay, we're off. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Everybody, bring all your friends. I'll make sure there's no associations with any links or anything, and so don't be afraid to invite everybody next week. Okay, good night.
Good night.
All right.